Thank you for joining us today. I'm Ingrid Guthrie, and this is Living It Up. And one of my guests today is Robin Corsino.
Hello.
And hi, Robin. Today's show is going to be about, for all you pet lovers out there, animal lovers, it's going to be about animal safety, and this particular segment is going to be about small breeds. Robin, tell us about your experience with your Yorkie, Max.
Well, first, Ingrid, I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about Max today and barkloudformax.com. You're always doing such wonderful good work in the community, and thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Well, my Yorkie Max was a wonderful little boy. I bought him at 6 months old from a pet store. And he was just lovely. I've brought a few things of Max's today. And even though this is a very sad story, we are hoping to raise awareness for people who would buy a puppy, and especially a small breed, and then would make the decision to neuter or spay.
And how old was Max when you had him spay?
Well, I had only had Max for 1 month, if you can imagine.
So he was 7 months old. That's
yeah,
it.
Max was only 7 months old. Yeah.
So, and then how did you find this vet?
Well, excuse me, this is an interesting story. I had bought Max from a pet store because he had lived there for 6 months, and I felt sorry for Max, but also I had been looking for a Yorkie, and it was a wonderful opportunity because he was actually discounted because he had lived in a store for 6 months. And when I went to buy Max from the store, they had given me a coupon for a vet that they had been working with. I probably would have never gone to this vet if I had not been given the coupon from the pet store to visit this vet.
And these are hard, trying financial times for everybody, and so you thought that the coupon was a good deal, and of course it came from the pet store that you got the dog from, so you figured it was reputable. And then what happened?
Well, first I just want to say, upon getting the coupon, one of my objectives was to go see the vet that I thought Max had been seeing quite often. I wanted to get the opinion on Max's shots and whether this vet had a history on Max. And then secondly, because of the coupon and our economy, I was taking advantage of the free visit for the vet.
Right. Okay, so tell us what happened. I know it's hard. But
okay, so Max was just lovely.
I have tissues.
Oh, thank you. But I had taken Max, who was about 6 pounds, and if you know Yorkies, they're very, very tiny. And this was the first time that I had a dog this small. And I had specifically asked the vet in the visit if there was anything that I had to be on the watch for with Max because he was so tiny. I was concerned about the anesthesia. I was concerned about the neutering process. And I had asked a lot of questions of the vet in that initial visit. The vet's response to me was, nothing is wrong, everything will be fine, there is nothing to look for, there are no problems.
Right. And then you took him in to get him spayed, neutered, and then you got a phone call.
Right. So basically the vet had offered me a discount if I would have gotten Max neutered within a month. And I did take advantage of that, and I do want to say that I do not want to put down neutering or spaying because it is so extremely important with the overpopulation we have right now, with all the pets that are out there and need to be rescued. But I did make some mistakes now, and that's what I want to focus on.
Right.
One of the things was I did not reference the vet before I went to him. I did not reference online current trends in anesthesia and small breeds or small dogs. And I didn't reference my breed, which is the Yorkshire Terrier. After this tragedy, a lot of information has come to light to me, and that's what I want to share. But basically, I had dropped my Max off. I had trusted this vet. I had handed him over to the vet, left, and was at a store shopping when I got the phone call that my beautiful Yorkie had taken a heart attack on the table during the neutering process.
Devastating. But he still was not dead at that time. It took a while, and then you had to take him to another vet. Is that
right?
But then you found out about the animal hospital where there was not a doctor on 24 hours, which is a really important thing to make sure that.
This is really important. So when I got the call, what was disturbing was the vet that called me almost seemed annoyed.
Oh my God.
And he said that he had not slept for the last couple days and that I had to make a decision what I was going to do with my dog. And I was about 40 minutes away, and my response was, I will be there. You do what you have to do for my dog, and I will be there. Upon getting there, when I walked in, and I did go into the back, the way my dog was being cared for, I felt was very careless. He was over a sink on a crate, a cold crate. And the vet that had done the procedure was not attending to him. We tried, me and another vet tech, for about 40 minutes to massage the dog and get the anesthesia out of his body. And my goal was, I thought that if we got the anesthesia out, that we could revive Max a little bit. And we were making some progress with this, which was really good. I had told them that I didn't know what to do, and this is when I learned that even though they said they were an animal hospital, and even though Max had previously been scheduled to stay the night, as all dogs and cats were in this hospital, they did not have 24-hour care.
Right.
So even though they were approved and they were a hospital, they were not prepared to handle this kind of an emergency.
Right. So then what happened?
So then I had to call a vet in my area, and I hadn't had a pet for a pretty long time. So I thought of a hospital in my area that I had heard good things about. I asked them to call, and I told them that I was going to transport Max to that hospital. It was an excruciating 40-minute drive with Max in the car. Again, he was a beautiful Yorkie, and we did get him to a wonderful hospital where they comforted him, and they did everything possible to make him comfortable in his distress.
And then at what point did he die?
We fought a really hard battle for 5 days in the hospital. And at this point, Max was blind. There was neurological damage, and what they do is they paddle, which was very disturbing. So at least the vet could have him on a Valium drip. And we had to wait for a 72-hour mark to see what decision we were going to make about Max. Finally, through a lot of counsel and research that week, we decided on Friday night that it would just be too sad to try to
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was just better for him just to let him go. But
Right.
how sad. How very sad. So this is something that happens to small breeds. About how often, what's the frequency that this happens?
Okay, so after this tragedy occurred, and I started to do my research, I found out that 1% of the pets in our country that go through the neutering and spaying process have a negative reaction to anesthesia. But not only through neutering and spaying, this also happens many times when we take our dogs in to get their teeth cleaned.
Right, right.
And what's so worrisome about this is, let's go back to that initial visit. I had asked a lot of questions, and I had trusted that vet to give me that information. And one of the things that the vet never told me at that point was, we really need to do some pre-blood work. Okay? Since that point, I've learned that there are vets that will not do a neuter or a spay or a teeth cleaning without that pre-blood work.
Right.
And it is a tough economy. And after discussions with this vet, they had said that they did not want to tell people in the public about these dangers because of the economy. and because they
Right.
felt people would stay away from neutering and spaying if they had to pay the additional money for the blood work.
Right.
I had asked them to change their policy because now, 5 days later, an enormous vet bill and the loss of my vet, I gladly
dog.
would have paid $100 for a pre-blood work screening.
Right. Right. So we have a couple minutes left, and I'd like Robin's on a campaign now for to save small breeds, so other owners don't have to go through what she went through. What are you doing? Tell us about your website.
So the first thing we did is we got a website for Max, and it's called Bark Loud for Max. And I'm building it so there is information there, but we're asking everyone first to visit the website, and if you want to make a comment, you can. But we're also asking that you sign up for Max's website, Facebook page, because this is really easy to do. You just go to your Facebook page and you type in Bark Loud for Max. Now, unfortunately, when you come in there, you're going to see a picture of Max in the hospital. But what we're doing through the Facebook page is we have partnered with some area rescue groups.
Nice.
And we are helping people to make some better decisions about this process and picking a vet and choosing a pet.
Right.
Within the last 2 weeks since this has happened to me, a lot of these rescue groups and people that I know in the pet industry have wrapped their loving arms around me.
Nice.
And through this, I have, for the first time in my life, gotten a pet through the SPCA and rescued. So now I have a beautiful Cairn Terrier named Jackson, who is helping me with my loneliness for Max. But we don't want to forget about Max, and we want to help people out there to really make a careful decision. And the most important thing is we want you to go away today and we want you to tell everybody you know this story of Max.
Right. And just be careful with the small breeds and the anesthesia. It's life-threatening. So.
And there's great articles out there, but there's a great article on the dogchannel.com. that you can read about dogs and anesthesia. And please feel free to email us again at barkloudformax@gmail.com, and we'll answer any questions.
Very good. Very good. Oh, there was also one more organization that you wanted to talk about just briefly, or just put up the website. Maybe the guys are doing that already.
Right. I guess the other thing that we did want to do is we wanted to say,
about a minute left,
not
so.
to be negatively, but if you do have a problem with your vet, it's extremely important that you report your vet.
Absolutely.
There's a couple sites out there like rateyourvets.com. And when people take the time to report something terrible that has happened, it helps other people in the future when they are making the decision to choose that vet. And it could make the difference, because after this happened with Max, and I went online, I learned some disturbing information from referencing the vet that I had gone to.
How about that? So there is this information. The information's out there. It's just that you really have to do the research.
Right. And one thing I had said to Ingrid earlier that just kind of bothered me was, I take so much care in choosing a doctor for myself. I feel a little guilty that I didn't take as much care with my new puppy, but I had sort of been out of the puppy arena for such a long time.
Right.
That I just didn't think, and I trusted the pet store. And I trusted the vet, and I really should have taken some time, because one more